So I'll just discuss inverse function once again. Just a brief explanation. So yeah, so inverse function is something. So suppose if f of x is an inverse function, if f of x is an inverse function, then the f of x is suppose that it is from set A to B, and g of x is an inverse function of f of x, and g is an inverse function of f of x, then g will be from B to A. Okay, so basically the property of f of x will be that f and g are bijective in nature, are bijective in nature. That means they both are surjective plus they both are injective. Surjective means onto, and injective means one. Okay, so we have seen that if a function is invertible, then they both will be the function will be bijective, and bijective means surjective as well as injective. Okay, first and second was that the function will be mirror image about the line y is equals to x. So if the graph is given, for the function, then we can always find the inverse of the function, the graph of inverse of the function, by drawing its mirror image from the line y is equals to x. Okay, this was second property. Third property was that if f and g are inverse of each other, then f of g of x will be equals to g of x will be equals to x, or identity. This will be an identity function. Okay, so whatever you substitute inside this, you will get as the output as same. Okay, so whatever you will put in inside the composite function f of g or g of, you will get x. You will get the answer as x. Okay, so this was the basic concept about inverse function, and we have solved the question based on inverse function. How to find a particular function is inverse or not? By checking whether it is injective as well as surjective. Okay, so I'll give you a question based on this, on the same thing. You have to find whether the function is invertible or not, or the function is invertible or not, and if it is invertible, then we can also find the inverse of function. How we will find the inverse of the function? If the function is giving x, y in terms of x, if the function is given as y in terms of x, what we'll do to find the inverse, first we will write x in terms of y, we'll write x in terms of y, and then what we'll do, third step it, write y as x, instead of x just write y, and so instead of x write y, and y as x. Instead of y, you change as x, whatever you have written in y change as x, and whatever written in x changes y. So whatever you will get afterwards will be the inverse of the function. Whatever you get after will be the inverse of the function. Okay, so let's do a question. On this. So basically, this is a question from NCERT book. Let's try to solve it. So they have given, I'm writing the question, you solve it. Okay, so they have given, show that f from R minus 7/5 to R minus 3/5 is defined by f of x is equals to 3x plus 4 upon 5x minus 7, and g of x is equals to g of x such that R minus 3/5 to R minus 7/5, such that g of x is from R minus 3/5 to R minus 7/5 is defined by is defined by g of x is equals to 7x plus 4 upon 5x minus 3. 7x plus 4 by 5x minus 3. Then f of g is equals to IA, that f of g is equals to IA, and g of f is equals to IB. Okay, where A is equals to R minus 3 by 5 and B is equals to R minus 7 by 5, where A is equals to R by 3 by 5 and B is equals to R minus 7 by 5, where IA of x is equals to x, and for all x belongs to A, and IB of x equals to x for all x belongs to B, are called identity function, are called identity function on set A and B. Okay, so this is a question given. The question given is as that show that there is a function f from R minus 7 by 5 to set R minus 3 by 5. These are the two sets. Function is given from set domain to codomain, is defined by f of x is, this is the definition of the function, this is the function defined as, and gx is given from set R minus 3 by 5 to R minus 7 by 5, is defined by this function g of x defined. Then f of g is equals to IA and g of f is equals to I. So you have to show that f of g is IA, where IA is the identity function for all x belongs to A, and f of g is IB, where IB is the function defined from identity function defined for x is an identity function on set A. So you have to show this, that these two will be an identity function based on this information. Okay, now show that this is an identity function. Okay, so first you have to find FOG and GOF, and you have to show that it is an identity function. Okay, show this. Okay, so what we can do is, so first what we have to do is we have to find that FOG and GOF are identity functions. Okay, so we simply have to show this, that these are the two functions given, where the domain for f is this and the range of f is this. Okay, in the case of G, the domain and codomain or the domain range becomes exactly opposite, means they get inverted. So the domain is this and range is this. So you have to find FOG and GOF. Okay, so basically you have to find FOG and GOF. So what we can do to find GOF, so I'll take this page. So what you have to do is you find GOF of x. That means G of, you have to find 3x plus 4. You just have to substitute, instead of x of G, you have to substitute 3x plus 4 upon 5x minus 7. Okay, so this is, and G function G was 7x plus 4 upon 5x minus 7. So instead of x, I have to substitute 3x plus 4 and 5x minus 7. Okay, so this is 7 into 3x plus 4 upon 5x minus 7 plus 4 upon 5 of 3x plus 4 upon 5x minus 7. Okay, minus 3. Okay, so this will give you the GOF function. So this is nothing but, if I solve this one, this will become 7 3s are 21. So this will become 7 3s are 21, 21x plus 28 plus 4 5s are 20x minus 4 7s are 28 upon, this is 5x minus 7, so this becomes 5 3s are 15x plus 5 4s are 20 minus 5 5 3s are 15x plus 4 7 3s are 21. Okay, so this is 21 plus 20, this is 41 x, this and this gets cancelled. In this case 15 and 15 gets cancelled, this will come upon 40. This is equals to x. Okay, now see, we have removed 5x minus 7. We have removed, cancel out 5x minus 7. So this is x, everything, every x except x is equals to 7 by 5, which is given in the question. So this is GOF. It is it. So GOF is identity in B. Identity in B for all values of x belongs to B. So B is what? B is this set. B is this set except 7 by 5. Except 7 by 5, everything x. So x. So this x belongs to real number minus 7 by 5. Why will remove 7 by 5? Because here we are cancelling 5 by 7 and 5 by 7. So only 7 by 5 of x will not be included. Rest every element will be included. Okay. This was for GOF. So we have shown that GOF is equals to x for all values of x belongs to real minus 7 by 5. Okay. Now second is FOG. We will find FOG. FOG of x. So FOG of x will be function f if I substitute g in it. So function f if I substitute g in it. So g function was 7x plus 4 upon 5x minus 3. So I'll just simply substitute 7x plus 4 upon 5x minus 7. So f is what? Function f. Function f is 3x plus 4 upon 5x minus 7. So 3 of 7x plus 4 upon 5x minus 7 plus 4 upon 5 of 7x plus 4 upon 5x minus 7 minus 7. So I'll again simplify this. Simplifying this, let's see. 3 7s are 21x, 21x. 3 4s are 12. This is plus 4 5s are 20, 20x. Minus 4 7s are 28. Okay, fine. And this becomes 5 7s are 35, 35x plus 5 4s are 20 minus 7 5s are minus 35x plus 7 7s are plus 49. 7 7s are 49. And there is a 7x minus 5x minus 7, 5x minus 7 in the denominator. So this will get cancelled. So this again will be equals to 21 plus this will 21 plus 5x, sorry, 5x minus 3. Sorry, this is 5x minus 3. 5x minus 3. 5. So this is 4 3s are 12. 12. And this is 7 3s are 20. Okay. So this gets cancelled. So this gets cancelled and this will become 21x plus 12 plus 20x minus 12 upon 35x plus 20 minus 35x plus 20. So this will again become 41x upon 41, which is equals to x. Also, x belongs to real number except which value? Except 3 by 5. Except minus 3 by 5. Okay. So we have shown that these both are identity. First identity is this one. G of is identity and FOG is also identity in this except 3 by 5. X belongs to real number except 3 by 5 in this. So x belongs to real number except 7 by 5. Okay. So that means if these two are identities, that means if G of is an identity and FOG is also an identity, that means these two are inverse of each other. Okay. So this was the question from your NCERT book. Understood? Just check it once again, then I'll give you next question. Just check it once again, then I'll give you the next question. Fine. Okay. Let's move on to the next. So the question given is let f of f such that R to R, f such that from R to R be defined by the function is defined by f of x is equals to e to the power x minus e to the power n minus x by 2. F of x is equal to e to the power x minus e to the power minus x by 2. So you have to check whether fx is invertible. You have to check fx is invertible or not. Fx is invertible. If it is invertible, then find its inverse. Find its inverse. Okay. So what you have to do? You have to check whether fx is invertible. If it is invertible, then we find the inverse of x. Okay. Solve this question. I'll give you some time. Solve this question. Okay. So I hope you understood the question. So basically what we have to find whether the function is invertible or not. What we have to do, we have to show to show that the function is injective injective as well as surjective. That means the function is 1 1 as well as the function is onto. Okay, if function is 1 1 and onto, the function is bijective in nature, and if the function is bijective, that means the function is invertible. Okay, to find the inverse, we just simply have to write x in terms of y in terms of x. Okay, instead of y in terms of x, we have to write x in terms of y. So first we have to check that function is 1 1 and onto. Okay, so first what we'll do, we'll find that the function is 1 1 in nature. So first we'll find the injective nature of the function. Injective, or you have to find the function is injective or not. Injective or 1 1 or not. Okay, so first you have to find the function is injective or not. So what we'll do, we'll take x1 not equals to x2. We'll take x1 not equals to x2 and we'll substitute y1 is equals to y2. So what is y1? Y1 is equals to e to the power x1 minus e to the power minus x1 by 2, and y2 is equals to e to the power x2 minus e to the power minus x2 by 2. Okay, and I will equate both of them. So I will equate y1 is equals to y2, y1 is equals to y2. This will give me e to the power x1 minus e to the power minus x1 by 2 is equals to e to the power x2 minus e to the power minus x2 by 2. Okay, so what I can do, I can take 2 cancel out, 2 will cancel out. If I take e to the power minus x1 as e to the power x1 minus 1 of e to the power x1 is equals to e to the power x2 minus 1 by e to the power x2. Okay, if I'll take the LCM and cross multiply. If I'll take the LCM and cross multiply. So basically what we have got is e to the power x1 minus 1 by e to the power x1 is equals to e to the power x2 minus 1 by e to the power x2. Fine. So I will take LCM. So this will become e to the power x1 into e to the power x1 minus 1 upon e to the power x1 is equals to e to the power x2 into e to the power x2 minus 1 upon e to the power x2. Now I'll cross multiply. So this will become e to the power x1 into e to the power x1 into e to the power x2 minus e to the power x2 equals to e to the power x1 into e to the power x2 into e to the power x2 minus e to the power x2. Okay, now I'll bring everything on one side. So this will become e to the power x1, e to the power x1, e to the power x2 minus this part will become negative. So this becomes e to the power x1, e to the power x2 into e to the power x2 minus. This is e to the power x2 plus e to the power this is x, e to the power x1 equal to 0. From here what I can take common? From here I can take common e to the power x1 into e to the power x2. So from here I can take e to the power x1, e to the power x2, e to the power x1, e to the power x2. So from here I will get e to the power x1 minus e to the power x2. Okay, and this is also plus 1 into e to the power x1 minus e to the power x2 equal to 0. Fine. From these two I can take e to the power x1 minus e to the power x2 common. So e to the power x1 minus e to the power x2 is common, and we have e power x1, e power x2 plus 1 equal to 0. Fine. So what we have got? We have got two solutions. Either this is equal to 0 or this is equals to 0. So let's take first one. E to the power x1 is equals to minus e to the power x2 is equal to 0. That means e to the power x1 is equals to e to the power x2. This will give us x1 is equals to x2. This is one of the answer, another solution. And second solution is e to the power x1 into e to the power x2 plus 1 equal to 0. Okay. Now we know that e to the power x1 into e to the power x2 both individually are greater than 0. This part is greater than 0 and this part is greater than 0. This part is greater than 0, this part is greater than 0. So overall, this whole thing will be greater than 0. Okay. Suppose this is 0.1, this is 0.01. Both will multiply, even then both will be positive. This is positive, this is positive. So overall will be positive. Plus 1. Plus 1, this always will be greater than 1. This will never be equal to 0. So that means this cannot be equal to 0. So that means we get only one solution, which is x1 is equals to x2. If we are getting only one solution, that is x1 equals to x2, that means it is injective. That is, it is injective image. That is, it is injective image. Is everybody understood? If we have got e to the power x1 and e to the power x2, that means it is injective image. Fine. This is the first part. This is the first part that we have got injective nature of the function. Fine. So next part, what you have to do, we have to find whether it is surjective or not. Okay. To find whether it is surjective or not, what we have to do? To find whether it is surjective or not, what we have to do? We have to find y in terms of x. We have to find instead of y in terms of x, we have to find x in terms of y. We have to find x in terms of y. So what I'll do? I'll write. I'll solve in the next page. Okay. Now see. Yes. So the function is defined from R to R. So what is the codomain of the function? The codomain of the function is R. The codomain of the function is R. Okay. So we just have to find the range of the function. We just have to find the range of the function. We just have to find the range of the function. So what I'll do? I'll write f of x or y is equals to, or f of x is equals to, they have given e to the power x minus e to the power minus x by 2. Right? They are giving something like this. So what I do, I will equate this in terms of y. I will equate this in terms of y. So what I do, I'll cross multiply. So this becomes 2y is equals to e to the power x minus e to the power minus x. E to the power x into e to the power minus x. If I take e to the power x, this thing is e to the power x. So this will become e to the power x minus 2y e to the power x minus 1 equal to 0. Because this I will take e to the power x. So this I will write once again. This is 2y is equals to e to the power x. This becomes e to the power 2x. This is e to the power x minus 1 upon e to the power x. If I'll cross multiply, this becomes 2y e to the power x is equals to e to the power x into e to the power x minus 1. This is e to the power 2x. I will bring this that side. So this is 2 into y e to the power x minus 1. Okay. This is the when I equate it equals to y, and I'll just cross multiply. This is just solving. Okay. Now this is a quadratic equation in e to the power x, because this is e to the power x. This is nothing but e to the power x whole square minus 2y into e to the power x minus 1 equal to 0. This is a quadratic in this is quadratic in y. Oh, sorry, this is quadratic in e to the power x. Okay. So if I treat this as capital X square minus 2y into capital X minus 1, where x is equals to e to the power x. Okay, capital X is equals to e to the power x. So if I write the solution, so that means capital X is equals to minus b plus minus under root of b square minus 4ac upon 2. Okay, this is what we'll get. So this is minus b. What is b? B is equals to 2y. Oh, sorry, b is equals to minus 2y. B is equals to minus 2y. So this is minus of minus 2y plus minus under the root of b square. What is b square? B square is minus 2y whole square minus 4 into a. A is 1 and c is minus 1 upon 2a. 2 into what is a? A is 1. So this becomes 2y plus minus under the root of this is 4y square. This is plus 4 upon 2. So this becomes 2y plus minus 2 under root of y square plus 1 upon 2. So this 2 and 2 gets cancelled. So this becomes equals to y plus minus under the root of y square plus 1. So this is capital X. Capital X is nothing but e to the power x. Okay. So after solving the quadratic expression, we got e to the power x is equals to y plus minus under root of y square plus 1. Till here everything is okay. Just check it. The solution, just till here, I will explain what this means. Okay, till here everything is fine. So let's see. So what we got is, we got e to the power x is equals to y plus minus under the root of y square plus 1. We got e to the power x is equals to y plus minus y square plus 1. Fine. So if we have got this solution, let's see. Now see, e to the power x is always greater than 0. E to the power x is always greater than 0. Okay. So we have got two roots. We have got two roots, y plus this thing and y minus this thing. Okay. See, if I'll take minus, we have under root of y square plus 1. We have under root of y square plus 1, which will always be greater than or equal to y. This will always be greater than y. This part will always be greater than y. So negative means this will always be negative, right? And we know that e to the power x is always positive. That means we will never take minus sign. So what will be the solution? E to the power x is equals to y plus under root of y square plus 1. See, y minus under root of y square plus 1. Take any value of y. Take any value of y. Suppose y is 2. Suppose y is 2. So this is 2 minus under root of 2 square plus 1. 2 square plus 1 is something around 2 square plus 1 is 5. Root of 5 is 2 point something. 2 minus 2 point something is negative. Okay. Let's take y to be negative. Let's y is minus 1. Minus 1 minus of under root of 1, minus 1 square plus 1. So minus 1 square will become 1. Okay. Minus 1 will give you more than, will give you 2. Under root of 2 is 1 point something. Okay. So again it will become negative. Understood? So that means that if we take here positive, if we take here negative, we will always get this thing as less than 0. Okay. But what we have to get? We have to take e to the power x is greater than 0. And this will be the solution. We are getting two roots. One of the roots will not satisfy the equation. Okay. So this is the actual root of e to the power x, which we formed as quadratic expression. Okay. So what we have got? We have got x in terms of y. So this is nothing but x in terms of y. X in terms of y. Understood? If x is in terms of y, tell me what will be the, so what is the domain of y? Here, domain of y. Domain of y. Here, what will be the domain of y? What are values of y it can take? Here, y can take any real value. Here, y can take any real value. That means y belongs to real. Okay, this is the domain of y. Okay, and if this is the domain, what we'll take, this domain will become the range. So this becomes y becomes to real number becomes the range of y. Range of y or range of f of x. So range of f of x is y is equals, y belongs to real number. Okay, the range of f of x is y belongs to real number. Y belongs to real number is the range, and this is also equals to the codomain, because in the question they have given the function in the question they have given function is from R to R. Okay, so that means the codomain becomes equals to range. If the codomain is equals to the range, then then what is the what does it mean? That means it means it is onto. This means it is onto or surjective. It is onto or surjective. So we have shown that f of x is injective plus surjective. That means it is bijective. If it is bijective in nature, that means the function is, if the function is invertible, that the function is invertible. Okay, so if the function is invertible, first part we have shown that the function is invertible. If the function is invertible, we have to find the inverse of the function. We have to find the inverse of the function. Now, if you remember, how do we find the inverse of the function? By writing x in terms of y. By writing x in terms of y. By writing x in terms of y. Now, this here we have already solved x. Here we have already written x in terms of y. We have already written x in terms of y. So let's see what we will get. So this is e to the power x is equals to y plus under root of y square plus 1. So e to the power x is equals to y plus under the root of y square plus 1. So x is equals to log base e, if I'll take log on both sides, y plus under the root of y square plus 1. See, inside of this part is always greater than 0. This part is always greater than 0. If you try to solve that this part is greater than 0, you will get y belongs to real number. If you try to solve this is greater than 0, you will get y belongs to real number. This is always greater than 0. Understood? Fine. Okay. So if this is x in terms of y, this is x in terms of y. Now to find the inverse, what I'll do, I will write x. I will change x as y and y as x. So if I change x and y as x, this will become y is equals to log e. Instead of y, I'll simply write x plus under the root of x square plus. Okay. So this is the inverse of the function, and this is the inverse of the function. I can write as g of x is equals to log base e x plus under the root of x square plus 1. And what was f of x? F of x was equals to x is e to the power x plus e to the power n minus x by. Okay, so this was f of x. The inverse of this function will be, or we can also write this as f inverse of x. Okay, just check this part, check this part, then we'll move on to the next section. I hope this is clear for everyone. Okay. Now let's. Yes. I hope this is clear for everyone. Fine. Okay. So fine. I'll write the next question. Try to solve. Okay. I'll write the next question. Try to solve. Fine. The question given is. Let f of x is equals to x square minus 4x plus 5 x square minus 4x plus 5 for x less than equals to 2. Let f of x equals to x square minus 4x plus 5 for x less than equals to 2. First, so this is the question. This is the question, and we have to find two things. Just find the inverse. Find the inverse. Find the inverse of f. You have to find the inverse of f of x. You have to find the inverse of this particular function. Second is find the domain. Find the domain and range of f inverse of x. You have to find the domain and the range of f inverse of x. Okay. So what you have to do? You have to find the inverse of x. You have to find the domain and range of f inverse of x. Okay. Solve this one. Then we'll. I'll give you some time. Then we'll solve this question. the first thing you must be thinking is that the first thing, if you look at the question, you must be thinking that this is a quadratic equation. This is a quadratic expression. This is the quadratic expression. Okay. So this function, this is a quadratic expression. If you try to find out the vertex, if you try to find out the vertex for this one, if you try to find out the vertex for this one, if you try to find out the vertex for this one, this expression will look something like this. This expression will look something like this. Okay, this is an upward facing parabola with imaginary roots. That means this will never intersect the x-axis. So this is x-axis, this is x-axis, and this is y-axis. Okay, if you look at this expression, then you will see that if I'll completely ignore this part, then you will see this is not 1 1. You will see this is not 1 1 because more than one x are giving you same y. For more, if I draw a line, if I draw same line, then more than one x are giving you same values of y. More than one x are giving you same values of y. Okay. Also, this part will never exceed below this. So there will be always a minimum. So there is always a minimum. There is always a minimum for this function. Okay. There is always a minimum. Also, for multiple x you will get same values of y. So multiple x you will get same values of y. For multiple x you will get same values of y. So basically this function, if I ignore this part, this function is neither 1 1 nor onto. This function is neither 1 1 nor on. Okay, neither 1 1 nor on. But in the question, what they have given us, that x is less than equals to 2. That x is less than equals to 2. X is less than equals to 2. That means this part must have some significance. That means this part must have some significance. Okay. To check what does this mean, first what we'll do, we'll find the vertex. We'll find the vertex. What is the vertex? Vertex is minus b by 2a comma minus d by 4a. Vertex is minus b by 2a comma minus d by 4a. Let's find out what is the value of minus b by 2a. Minus of what is the b? What is the value of b? B is minus 4. B is minus 4 upon 2. 2a. 2 into what is a? A is 1. Okay, comma. Minus d is what? B square minus 4ac. B square. B square minus 4ac. B square is what? B is what? Minus 4. B square minus 4 into 5 into 1. B square minus 4ac upon 2a upon 4a. 4 into 1. Okay. So this is what? This is minus b by 2a and this is minus b by 4a. Let's see. Minus b by 2a. This is plus 4 upon 2. So this is 2, comma. This is minus of minus 4 whole square, 16. 16 minus 20. Minus 4. Minus 4 into minus plus 4. Plus 4 divided by 4. 1. So that means this point is 2, comma 1. Okay. That means this point is 2, comma 1. That means minimum value of this particular function, the minimum value of this particular, if I ignore this one, minimum value of this is 1. That means this is always 1 and greater than 1. This will always 1 and greater than 1. This is moving from 1 and moving till infinity. This is moving from 1 and moving till infinity on the left and right side. Also, at this point, it will start coming backwards. It is coming from plus infinity, moving till 1 and then again moving back. But in the question, they have already given that x is less than equals to 2. That x is less than equals to 2. That means we have to take all values of x which are less than this. We have to take all the values of x which are less than 2 or less than 2. Okay. That means I can completely ignore the right hand side part. That means I can completely ignore the right hand side part. That means the function is now something like this. The function becomes something like this. That is, the function, the only function which I am considering will be on the right side. The only function which I will be considering on the right side. I will not consider this part of the function. So if I am only considering on the right side of the function, if I completely ignore, then tell me, is this 1 1 function? Yes, it is 1 1 function because I do not have to worry about the right hand side part. This is 1 1 part. This is 1 1 function. Also, it is onto for all values of all values of codomain which are greater than 1. Okay, so what I can take is, I can assume the domain of this function. So the domain of this function is already given to me. The domain of this function is from minus infinity to 2. From minus infinity to 2. And what is the range of the function? The range of the function is from 1 to infinity. From 1 to infinity. This everybody understood? So what I have, or range or codomain. Range of codomain. What I have assumed, that the function is, the codomain of the function is from 1 to infinity, and the domain of the function is from minus infinity to 2. Okay, so the original function which was given like this, basically what does they mean, that if we have to find the inverse, it has to be bijective. So the function is f of x from a to b, where what is a is equals to, a belongs to minus infinity to 2, a belongs to minus infinity to 2, and what is the value of b? B belongs to 1 to infinity. Now this becomes the codomain which is equals to the range, and this becomes a domain which is already given to us. Fine, and the graph of this function will look something like this. X and y axis. So the graph of the function will look something like this. Okay, the graph of the function will look something like this. This is fine for everyone. Now what you have to do, now we know that it is 1 1 and on 2. Now we know this is 1 1 1 1 and on 2, or bijective. Okay, now this is in our mind that it is bijective in nature. Now we have to find the inverse of this. We just have to find the inverse of this function. Okay, and how do we find the inverse of this function? We write y. So we have written y in terms of x. Now we'll write x in terms of y. Okay, we'll write x in terms of y. So the original question was y is equals to x square minus 4x plus 5. X square, y is equals to x square minus 4x plus 5. We can write this as y is equals to x square minus 4x plus 4 plus 1. We can write this part as x square minus 4x plus 4 plus 1. Now if I write in this way, most of you must have realized that x square minus 4x plus 4 is what? Is a perfect square. So this becomes y is equals to x minus 2 whole square plus 1. Y is equals to x minus 2 whole square plus 1. As soon as I write this, you understand that what I do next, I will take 1 on this side. So this will become y minus 1 is equals to x plus 2 whole square. If I write this as this thing, I can take under root. So this will become x minus 2 is equals to x minus 2 is equals to under root of y minus 1. X minus 2 is equals to under root of y minus 1. Okay. Also, because there is a square, so we will have x minus 2 is equals to minus of under root of y minus 1. Both plus or minus. Understood? Now, when I take the root, it will become plus and minus. This is okay. Now see, but they have already given that x is what? X is less than or equal to 2. X is less than or equal to 2. X is less than or equal to 2. That means here x will be less than or equal to 2 in both the cases. Okay. If x is less than or equal to 2, what is on the left hand side? We will get a negative always. But on the right hand side, in one of the solution, this is positive. This part is positive, and on the left hand side, we'll get negative. So that means we will neglect this solution. We'll neglect this solution. We will neglect this part of the solution, and we'll accept only this part. We'll accept only this part. Okay, because now left side and right side will always be negative, so we will accept only this part. So what will my inverse become? This is x minus 2 is equals to minus of under root of y minus 1. I will take 2 this side, so this is x is equals to 2 minus under root of y minus 1. Okay, so we'll get x is equals to 2 minus under root of y minus 1. If x is equals to 2 minus under root of y minus 1, how will I find the inverse? How will I write the inverse of the function? I will simply convert x as y and y as x. So this will become y is equals to 2 minus under root of x minus 1. Now what is this? This is g of x, or this is f inverse of. Understood? So this is the inverse of the function. This is the inverse of the function. This is okay for everyone? Okay, just check it once. Just check it once. Understood? Fine. This part is okay. Now see. If someone will ask you that what will be the graph of the inverse of the function, what will the graph of inverse of the function will look like? What will the graph of inverse of the function looks like? So basically, this is the function given to us. This is the function, or this was the function given to us. Okay, this was the function given to us, right? Now, what we have to take, inverse of the function is nothing but the mirror image of a function in line y is equals to x. In line y is equals to x. So I will draw a line y is equals to x. Suppose this is the line y is equals to x. Suppose this is the line y is equals to x. Now I just have to draw the mirror of this point, the mirror of this part about this line. So if mirror of this part about this line. So I know that this point will be 0, 5. This point will be 0, 5. So this line, the mirror of this part will pass through which point? 5, 0. And it will also pass through this point. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll draw something. I'll draw from this point and it will be curved. It will be curved. So it is something like this. Okay. So this is what? This is f of x. And what will this become? This is f inverse of x. This will become f inverse of x. I hope the diagram is clear to everyone, because you just have to draw the mirror image of the function. Okay. I want you to try to draw the diagram, and I want you to try this question once again. Okay. I'll show the slides from the beginning. Just check, and in the next class we'll discuss the question once again. Fine. Okay.